Fam, what's up? Welcome back to the CEO Pulse podcast, where you get the real, the raw, and the mind of entrepreneurship. Check this out. Right? So we have Benjamin Hoang today. This kid's 17 years old, and he's a beast when it comes to lead generation. He's the owner of boltdeals.io, and he specializes in PPC and Facebook ads, right? If you've tapped into any of that stuff in whatever industry you're in, you know that it's more than just a gig, right? Like, algorithms change on a regular basis. The commitment, the level of commitment that you got to have to actually dial in that craft is insane. And he's been doing it since he was 15 years old. So now you're technically a veteran at this thing.
I'd say so.
You graduated high school, what, 2 weeks ago?
About 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, bro, it's I know I wasn't thinking the way you were thinking when I was 17 years old. I have a question that I always ask at the end of a show, but I'll have to modify it just because of of how young you are. But it's really cool, man. It's really cool to have you on the show. Thanks for flying in, man. I know you're coming in all the way from Houston.
Me. I truly appreciate you having me. It means a lot.
My pleasure. So break it down, dude. I mean, you tapped into the lead generation space, right? You were in high school.
Correct.
Freshman in high school?
Freshman in high school, correct.
Yeah. All right. So how does a freshman in high school get the idea or the entrepreneur itch? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I remember when COVID hit and school just shut down. I believe it was around March or April. Mm-hmm. I just had all this time on my hands. Like, we didn't have homework, we didn't have anything. So I had 8 hours, 10 hours a day to just watch YouTube. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I remember asking myself, like, what do I want to do with my life? So at that time, I fell in love with this show called Grey's Anatomy, which a lot of people know. And that got me to become a doctor. It encouraged me, I should say, to really want to become a doctor. And then I realized that I wanted to become a doctor for the money. Yeah. But then it just wasn't what I was truly passionate about. So when I spoke to my aunt's sister, who's a doctor, she says you should never join the medical field for the money. So doctor's off the table. What else do I do now with my life? So I go on YouTube. How do I make money? Okay. So they're teaching drop shipping. They're teaching Amazon FBA. They're teaching crypto, all of this. And the last one that I found was social media marketing agency. I was like, okay, this sounds cool, because all these other methods talk about how to make money just selling stuff. Yeah. And social media marketing agency, you can sell stuff, but you can also impact lives. So that was like, okay, I need to start an agency. Yeah. So I started an agency. I learned, watched YouTube videos, didn't buy any courses yet, for about a month or two. Yeah. So when around, I believe it was the end of June, I started cold calling. So I woke up one day, I started watching TikToks, just entrepreneurial stuff on my feed. So I just started cold calling. So I cold called, went on Google, just called them up.
Cold calling for what?
Cold calling for social media advertising clients. Hey, my name is Benjamin. I'm a new marketer here in the area. Are you looking to do XYZ? Yeah. I got a lot of no's. So I'm like, okay, this is not as easy as TikTok made it out to be. Yeah. So back to the, YouTube University, I would study for, 2-3 more months, because I just didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. So I wanted to go back, learn, try and do it right. Yeah. So while I was studying, I was also cold calling. So that clearly wasn't working. And then ultimately it's just amount of just getting the reps in, the volume, and then ultimately I struck my first client about 3 months later.
3 months later after you started cold calling. So you were cold calling, learning the ropes, and then taking action at the same time, right? I see a pattern with people who actually make it. Absolutely. So a lot of my audiences, they're all entrepreneurs, right? Correct. But one thing that we see is that a lot of people get caught or stuck in that learning phase, in that
Absolutely.
theoretical phase. And it's important, right, to even if you don't know all the details, if you don't have, the full picture of what things are going to be like or look like in a year and the whole business model infrastructure, taking action really opens you up for different perspectives, different questions.
Absolutely.
And if you come at it the right way, it's you have daily wins, right, that you can bank on. If you call 10 people and 10 of them said go to hell, it's still a win because you actually picked up the phone and
You just
you
knew
made that.
this list didn't work. Move on to another list.
Exactly.
You're just getting data.
I love that
It's
thought
just-
process,
yeah.
man.
It really comes down to a mindset shift. So I was here. I'm from Houston. There's this other investor here in Houston, and he has this book. It's called the Real Estate Dictionary, something like that. And the first chapter was about mindset. And when he was at the event talking about his book, one of the things that he was talking about was mindset. Because if you don't have your mindset right, you can't do anything else wrong. Because if you look at things with the wrong mindset, everything's just a loss, everything's a scam, everything is just not what you thought it was. So mindset is absolutely crucial when you're in business or any other aspect in life.
1,000%. I didn't realize that until probably my mid-20s. So I was when I was 19, when I turned 19, I became a firefighter. And I kind of went into that corporate space where I mean, you're programmed, right, to just operate. But I didn't see it at that young age. And it really came to me later just because of adversity. I put myself in some tight spots because I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I launched my first business when I was 21. While I was at the fire department, but adversity made me see that, right? It made me understand that. Is that something that you went through? I mean, as to have that realization, right? That okay, cool. In order to do anything, in order to get to that next level, and get out of this space which you wanted to get out of, you had to shift your mindset.
Oh, always. Because there's this quote that goes, what got you here isn't going to get you there.
Yeah.
So for every stage you are in life, whether that's, education, whether that's business, you're always going to have to take that next, leap, next, mindset shift, or just change in general.
Yeah.
Because, for example, going out of school to real life, like for people that attend university, they're going to have a culture shock. Yeah. Because they were so used to, just waking up, hitting the shower, going to class for 8 hours, coming home, doing homework, and going to bed. But then once they go to their next level of life, they're waking up, they have to do work, they have to do all the stuff that someone in the quote-unquote adult life would. So, yeah, there's a lot of change and mindset and just life in general that you have to.
How have you... I guess managed to have that click. We met at a conference.
Yes,
we met
we
in
did.
Houston at a conference.
Yes, we did.
You don't see a lot of 17-year-old kids running around.
Unfortunately, not.
Yeah, a lot of teenagers running around
Absolutely.
in conferences, real estate conferences.
Absolutely.
And actually, I saw you. I mean, you networked like a beast that weekend.
Absolutely.
And if I recall right, you were by yourself, right?
I was by myself.
Yeah.
Correct. I was by myself.
All right. So that in itself is a win, right? It's merit. Big kudos on that. You went to this conference, and it could be intimidating. You walked up to a ton of people, speakers. I mean, there was no fear there. Like there was no. I mean, I remember we started talking in the hallway and
Near the restrooms.
Yeah, and then you walked right up to me, and then we started talking about the space of real estate. You told me what your plans were. I was like, man. Then you said that you were like so young. I was like, wow, this is. I mean, just the fucking mindset is really cool.
Absolutely, yeah. And the biggest thing about
space.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about that is what I realized is that we're all humans. You may have more followers than me, you may make more money than me, but at the end of the day, we both breathe the same air. Yeah. So another thing about that is that I go to these events, I don't expect much. I just know there's going to be people, and hopefully it's one person that's going to change it all for me. So it's really coming down to building that, confidence to shake hands. I wouldn't be here if I didn't shake your hand. So I'm very glad that I did. And that goes for any event, whenever you mastermind, whenever you go to a meetup, it's very important. I have a buddy of mine that is also interested in real estate, and he has a small business background. But I ultimately told him, dude, let's partner up. I'm amazing at sales. I'm amazing at marketing. Why don't we partner up and you can do the back end and I can do the front end? We both make a lot of money. So I invited him to this real estate conference earlier this week, and he asked me, what do I do? It's like, dude, just shake as many hands as you can and find a way to provide value to others before asking for something. So that's pretty much my thought whenever going to any of these mastermind events.
Yeah, and it's really game changer, right? I mean, just tapping into the resources and the brains of other people who they've already done it.
Absolutely.
You know, so the runway that you have, you know, professionally, I mean, it's long, right? Now, if you're tapping into these spaces, you know, getting right into it, I mean, it's only a matter of when. You know, it's not a matter of if things are going to pan out. It's a matter of when, right?
Exactly.
And you're already in it. So you launched Bold Deals.
Correct.
2 years ago?
Correct. 2 years ago. It was actually BMH Media, so it was my initials, and then media, because that's what every other agency named it.
Yeah.
And then I officially rebranded, got the LLC, got the DBA, and all that stuff about a year ago.
Okay.
Well, maybe 11 months ago, but yeah, a year ago.
So you break into this space, and now, I mean, you were just at another conference, Tony Romero's. I mean, he's also up and coming, young dude.
Absolutely, he's
killing
an amazing guy.
Yeah.
He's I believe that guy single-handedly changed my life.
Wow.
Yeah, and I met him at the same event that we met. So, and all it took was me providing him a value and shaking his hand.
Yeah.
We made eye contact. I shook his hand. We connected outside. Went on his podcast.
I'm telling you, man, it takes, sometimes it just takes, you know, that little push, right, to make things click.
Absolutely.
And whether or not, you know, sometimes we may feel like we're not on the right track. We may feel like, you know, it can be a little bumpy, you know, and whatnot. But then you run into that one person that's going to connect you with somebody else, or just shift your perspective and, you know, help you see things from a somewhat of a different standpoint.
Absolutely.
And that's all it takes to really just make things click.
Absolutely. And another thing about that is you have to, well, for me, every time I go into these rooms, you always have to be willing to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't go in there thinking you know everything, because chances are you don't. So this brings me on to something we talk about later in a bit, and that's ego. Okay. Going to these events, you get humbled very, very easily.
Yeah.
Okay. You think you're all that, coming in, nice suit, looking big, and the first guy hops on stage, and boom, you're like, let me sit down and let this guy speak and see what he has to say. So that's one. Another thing is providing value. Provide value to anyone and everyone, whether they're a beginner, whether they're advanced, whether they're multimillionaires. Just provide value to everyone, because law of reciprocity says it will ultimately come back to you, but don't expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that, man. So break it down. I mean, technically, what in your business, I mean, the stuff that you're breaking into and the your area of expertise, right? I know algorithms change quite a bit. I know I have to do a lot of marketing, and then really kind of, you know, stay familiarized. I'm not an expert by any means, but familiarized with, you know, what's going on PPC, what's, you know, what vehicle of marketing is giving us the best, you know, ROI, both for my coaching, students and clients, and for my real estate investments.
Absolutely.
So what can you tell us right now? And again, your bread and butter is PPC and Facebook, right?
Correct.
Okay, so what's going on right now in those spaces?
So as of this month, end of August 2022, a lot of advertisers on Facebook especially have experienced page shutdowns, ad account shutdowns, ad account restrictions.
Yeah, we just went through that. Yeah.
And yes, we did. So basically, like half my client roster just dead. And PPC, on the other hand, is skyrocketing. So my clients on PPC are just killing it. They're happy. They're laughing at all my other clients that are doing Facebook. They're crushing it. They're getting deals. Sellers are calling them. They're happy. Facebook clients, on the other hand, not the best. Some of them are, they're coming at me, they're upset, and I totally understand because I got shut down as well.
Yeah.
Okay, my own business manager on Facebook got shut down. So I was like, this is the final straw with Facebook. I think the best thing is to just upgrade all of our clients over to PPC. So that's basically what we're in the process of doing right now. And the clients that we have done that, they're extremely happy. They're extremely satisfied. And that makes me question, I don't think I'll ever be selling Facebook ads ever again. I think PPC is the future. Well, I mean, it's already doing amazing. I don't know if you know, but recently there was a study done and there was a 2,000% increase when it comes to the keyword sell my house now or sell my house fast, something like that, which with the economy going on, it kind of makes sense. So we're switching all of our clients over to PPC. They're getting better results. They're happier. I'm getting less, complaints, lead sucks, lead quality's this, lead quality's that. And yeah, we're moving away from Facebook and it's just not,
yeah, I tapped into Facebook too for a while there, and I mean I wasn't seeing a lot of the ROI just wasn't there.
Of course.
And yeah, I mean it's again everybody picks their their strategy, but at this day and age it's important to have a couple of different verticals.
Absolutely.
So if say that somebody wants to set up their own campaign and then just kind of kick it off with that at the beginning, what can you recommend somebody like that?
Well, the first thing is try and buy a course. Maybe don't even work with an agency yet. Just find a course and purchase that course, run it yourself. See how that goes. If it works, great. Hopefully you get some deals from it because Google is very, very, it's very technical. It's very analytical. So for the average visionary who likes to focus on sales and all that front end stuff, it may not be the, something they like. But for someone that loves numbers, someone that loves setting up tech and all that stuff, it 100% would be the thing for them. So my recommendation is go on YouTube, find some courses, just learn and try and set up something yourself and run it yourself and see how that goes. And if it doesn't work, I mean, you can always pay an agency, or if it does work, just continue working. Just continue running that thing. There's no need to change what's not broken.
Do you guys do a lot of emphasis on like SEO type of stuff or keywords and
So with SEO, we don't really do too much of it, even though our media buyer who does PPC for our clients can. But the thing about that is I'm just not ready to add on that service because it takes about 9 to 12 months on SEO for results to kick in. For me, I like it when clients sign up, pay me, and get results right away.
Yeah.
Our best ever case study was this client over in Atlanta, Georgia, that is. And in 5 days of working with us, I believe she got 3 contracts. She closed 2 earlier August.
Yeah.
Okay. So Facebook has its advantages, but its disadvantages just outweigh the advantages. So we're moving.
Yeah,
away from
I think that platform is moving. I mean, it's moving way too much.
Yeah.
We still tap into it for certain things, but it's not something that I fully rely on anymore as far as business.
Absolutely.
Development, lead generation, that's
Absolutely. Yeah, Facebook is just too volatile when it comes to their ad restrictions. The last time we went through some shutdown like this, for me personally, was in, I believe it was February. We just got I got every single one of my clients shut down, and it was not a pleasant experience whatsoever. So that was like, so it happened. The first time it happened was, I believe it was in October of last year for me, and then it was February of this year, and then earlier this month, or last week I should say, was the final straw for me. So we're moving over to PPC completely. We're just gonna cut out that service, and every client that we have on Facebook, we're just gonna upgrade them over to PPC. Keep them happy.
PPC?
Yeah. Keep them happy, get them better results.
What about, I mean, because you're in that space, right? Do you guys do, or what's your take on other platforms, for example, like YouTube in terms of lead generation, TikTok, and any of the other social media platforms?
So,
are you tapped into that, or?
No. So we haven't tapped into that. I know for TikTok, it can work, but it's more of an organic thing, is what I've heard. When it comes to TikTok ads, I don't think it would perform really well, as their attribution and their tracking just isn't good enough yet. When it comes to YouTube, I know it can work. It depends a lot on the creative, the video that we're actually putting out there. We haven't tested anything like that, but we would obviously be open to it. But yeah, YouTube, I'm pretty sure it's going to be very successful once it's dialed in. But TikTok, I just don't think it has enough data to be where we want it to be.
Awesome. Well, it's to me, it's easy to get confused, right? It's easy to get people talk about social media and reach, organic versus paid and all that stuff, and it's easy to just want to do everything.
Oh, of course.
I think finding your channel, right? Finding your track. Okay, which one are you gonna go heavy on? At least for me, in my opinion, or in my case, it helped me to hone that in, right? And then because I started spending a lot of money, stupid money, on other platforms, and I just wasn't getting results. It's kind of like shooting, at the sky with a shotgun. And
at the end of the day, just going back to the mindset stuff. Just going back to the mindset stuff, you just found what doesn't work. So you understood that, and now you shifted to another platform that did work.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to go back to that as a mindset shift. Whenever we're running ads and maybe the first week or something, we're not getting results, we always tell the client, hey, it's not that we're wasting money, we're just buying data. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not the best data, but it's data to improve as we go on.
Right.
So it's going back to the mindset shift.
So you mentioned earlier that you've gone through a couple of, you've already shifted your business model, right? In a matter of a couple of years. So there's a lot of things that have happened. 2019, 2020, rolled around. It just, turned everything on its head. 2021 was, kind of like a little bit of a recovery. There's still, ripple effects and whatnot, and then we get hit with the housing thing. Yeah. You've already been through a pandemic and war in the life of your business. Pretty much at the same time. So tell me, how are you wrapping your head around the idea of building something that's going to be for the long run?
Well, that really comes down to the beginning. You have to go into business with the intention of running it for the long term. In my coaches and mentors from the mastermind I'm in, they're always saying like build to sell. So build your agency in order to sell. So that's the foundation of it. Always have a plan on what you want to do and stick to it. Okay, try not to have a plan B because you won't be focused on plan A, if that makes sense. So I understand that PPC is going to be the future. Facebook, like they're done. I'm done with them. And PPC, people are always going to be in distress situations. They're always going to be, facing foreclosure. They're always going to miss their mortgage payments and need to sell. They're always going to go through probate, all that. So in my opinion, I think PPC is going to be the quote unquote golden key to scale a lot of our investor clients to where they want to be.
That makes sense. It's, again, social media and Facebook specifically, it's changing so much, and it's so often, right?
Absolutely.
It's when I was running and I was going heavier on it, it took me taking somebody and plugging them into that one role full time, just managing the marketing, the campaigns. It is what it is. So now shifting again, you kind of going back to that mindset portion of it. How do you manage though, like the volatility of everything that's happening in your space? I'm talking at a psychological level, at a mental level. What do you do? Do you have, for example, most entrepreneurs out there, they have a morning ritual. There's something that they go through on a regular basis. Okay. And that's the take of somebody who's, more than likely 25 to, plus and over and whatnot, right? So I'm curious to see how you handle that kind of stuff.
So I want to start off with the first one. You said, how did I deal with Facebook's volatility? And just to give you a bit of context, when that day, I think it was Wednesday and Thursday of last week, those 2 days that basically half my clients got shut down. I was staring at my phone and I would just get email after email after email after email of just account is getting restricted. So I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on? And I messaged my media buyer, I messaged our client success manager, our operations manager. Okay, this is bad and we need to fix this. So we're all scrambling to get our clients to confirm their identity, submit their ID to Facebook to get it confirmed, and request a review. Yeah. So it was extremely, extremely stressful. And on top of that, we were trying to fix that all day. We literally blocked out the entire day to just fix that. My priority was fixing that and making sure our clients got back live again. And then it was around, we still didn't fix it. It was like 6 p.m. I normally go to the gym at 6 p.m. So I went to the gym. During my little leg press section, I just see in my ear, my headphones, just email after email, just more of them, just banned. I have clients from 6 months ago that are getting banned. So I'm like, okay, this is bad. So I told my media buyer, dude, let's just stop touching the ad accounts, let Facebook cool down, and then we'll revisit it tomorrow. So we revisit it tomorrow. Boom, more accounts banned. I'm like, okay, great. So maybe we should try and fix something. So we call up all of our clients that are banned. I was like, dude, we need you to submit your ID right now. I need you to drop everything and submit your ID right now. And then over the weekend, we started getting clients back up again. I was like, okay. And the biggest thing I learned from this is a few things. Just because it was a bad day doesn't mean tomorrow's going to be a bad day. In this case, it was, but the day after that got better.
It got better.
So it was hard. It was very stressful on me because I was like, dude, we can't be refunding clients like this. This is terrible. So as time goes on, we had more clients. We called them more. We called them, followed up. Dude, did you submit your ID? Great, you did. Let's request a review. And the next thing you know, Facebook apologizes, and then we get our accounts back. And now leads are coming back in, appointments are getting set, contracts are getting signed. So we're good there. Now, on to your next question about my morning ritual. I don't really have one. I wake up, I brush my teeth, open my computer, and get straight to work. And I want to break this down because a online mentor from YouTube University that I have, his name is Alex Ramosi.
He made it.
Yeah, the guy is absolutely phenomenal. And one thing he preaches in one of his videos is that nobody needs to do all these daily affirmations and journaling and practicing gratitude, talking, wishing stuff in the mirror. So I was like, oh, okay, that's what all the cool online entrepreneurs that live in Cabo do. So he says he just wakes up, drinks coffee, and goes straight to work. So I'm like, okay, let's try that. Wake up, brush my teeth, get straight to work. Just that's it. No need to overcomplicate it. I mean, I'm here to build a business, not do a bunch of wishy-washy stuff.
It shines light, right, on just the the difference in thought processes. For example, like one and as you get to a point where you've been working for so long, and I'll speak for myself on this, that certain things just kind of start bubbling up, right? I launched my first business when I was 21. It's 19 years ago. So you get to a point where you start kind of shifting priorities, but you always have that hustle period. Absolutely. Where and I went through my 20s like that, right? Where I don't give a shit about anything else. I have my my focus glasses on, and I'm aiming here, and then just breaking through walls with my forehead, and it's a season, right? So you go through that process, and I think it's a really cool space to be in when you're starting off. And I would do the exact same thing. Wake up. I've always been a coffee guy. Hit the coffee, and then boom, that's it. It's game time.
Absolutely.
And that started shifting after a while. And I don't know if it's because of the length, right, of the years that I've spent in the entrepreneur space. But I think priorities just kind of okay, cool. what is they shift. We go through different stages, right? Sometimes we'll start off, we're feeling like we're in survival mode.
Correct.
And that's gonna have you operate a certain way. Pressure is gonna have you operate a certain way. And then you get to a point where maybe you get a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, that's where it bites you.
You taste a level of success and whatnot. And then priorities change, your behaviors change, right? So now, for example, the thing that I've been doing is 5 a.m. Go hit the gym. I wake up with my son. He goes with me in the morning. It's a really cool thing. He's 15, and we hit that. We come back, and then I have about another 45 minutes before I drop him off at the bus stop and whatnot. But between that time, I sit down and I journal, and I'll spend some time and I meditate. And I've gotten so used to doing that morning thing that whenever I don't do it, I feel like I'm off. And I start, and I'll get to work at around 9 or 10 or something. So the whole morning is mine. But whenever I don't do it, I feel like I'm off, and my day is not as productive. So it's interesting to see, you know, the age and difference, the age in or the difference in also in the you know, how long you've been on the trenches, right?
Yeah.
And that, like, that fire, like, fuck yeah, let's go get it done. And then you get to this space
So
where
you
it's
just
like
coast and you're like, I'm making good money.
Yeah,
and-
well, it's not necessarily coasting. I think it's, again, it really comes in because, I mean, I'm motivated and driven as heck still. It's not like, you know, I don't get, you know, stuff done, but it's I fill my cup, my personal cup, you know what I mean? And then I get into the performance, the operation space. So I don't know. It's just interesting, right? To do a comparison, a compare and contrast. Not that it's a bad thing, you know. Either each or neither of the two processes. It's just interesting to see the you know, the thought process behind each one of those. So yeah, that's pretty cool, man. So. You were talking about, you know, we were kind of having a brief conversation in terms of like best practices and things like that, right? So you could, you know, just kind of give us a little bit more insight as to, you know, what you're doing in terms of your business and that sort of thing. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, what's the best place to reach you at?
So boltdeals.io is my website. You can reach out there. You reach out to me on Facebook. That's where I'm most responsive. Instagram, I'll maybe check it once or twice a day. Instagram has been very, very, well, the feed, I should say, has been very, very just disturbing is what I'll say. So I deleted that. I deleted the app from my phone. I deleted a lot of social media from my phone. I just didn't want to deal with all the crap that comes with it.
The noise, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, the noise. I deleted Snapchat, all the social media. I didn't have many friends in high school, so it's not like I'm missing out on anything. So I just deleted all that noise, stay focused. But Facebook is great to reach me. Instagram is also a pretty good place to reach me.
And what's your handle on
Instagram?
Well, yeah, Instagram, and then also Facebook.
Facebook is you just search up my name, Benjamin, and last name is Hoang, and then you'll see a picture of me in like a red shirt or something, and that's me right there.
Cool.
Absolutely.
And then the website, right? Contact info and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right on. And we were talking about best practices, and were you gonna do something like that in terms of PDF or?
Absolutely, yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a PDF or a just like a quick funnel that will have a link to a PDF that will explain best practices, you know, how to set up PPC, just giving a quick run through of PPC for the audience you have here because I want to provide them value. It's going to be it's going to be pulse.boltdeals.io. You just
Cool.
put that in and then
pulse.boltdeals.io.
Correct.
We'll put that on the show notes.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, that's you know, they can go there, can download the PDF and help themselves.
So awesome, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. Before we start signing off, one question that I love asking is if you were walking down the street and you ran into your 17-year-old self.
I mean, I am 17.
Exactly.
I was listening to your podcast with Ricardo Rosales earlier today, and I heard that question. I'm like, is he going to ask me this, or is he going to ask me if I was 7 years old? So I was like,
no, I'm not going to go back that far. I think I'm going to go to probably like 15 or something, because that's when you actually, you know, started jumping into the entrepreneur space and, you know, started the company. But I mean, I think that's when real life experience started, you know, kind of, you know, trickling in for you. But yeah, the reason I asked that question is I go back to my own self, like my own perspective. When I was 17 years old, you know, senior in high school, I mean, I had every solution to every problem. I knew it all. I had the highest, you know, the biggest, you know, ego. I mean, it was just, you know what I mean? I had life on, you know, on the palm of my hand.
Exactly.
And there was just so much shit I wasn't aware of. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it was just a time of a lot of energy and a time of a lot of lack of information for me. You know what I mean? So I was taking all kinds of actions and whatnot. It was just everything was disorganized. So I like to go back to that space because of the mindset that I have. I think recovering that mindset was a really big thing for me. So the mindset is good. Just with experience, I mean, it's a lot better. But going back to like that 17-year-old space, that's why the 17-year-old always kind of comes back.
It's funny because I am 17.
Yeah. So if you were day one, you're starting your business and you're a freshman in high school, and you ran into that 15-year-old kid, what piece of advice would you give that kid right now?
Definitely get a mentor. That's the thing, and I want to elaborate on that. The first year in me starting this agency, I thought I could do it all myself. I was like, I don't need any mentor. Everyone that's paying for courses is stupid. You guys are wasting your money. All of that. And then I think it was 3-4 months in, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this myself because I was charging $300 a month, and I could not get past that. The clients were happy, but I'm barely making any money. Yeah. So after I invested in a mentor next summer, so this was September when I closed my first client finally, and then next year, summer of next year, was when I invested in my first mentor. I made my money back. The first client I charged was like $1,500 a month. And I'm like, wow. So at that moment, I'm like, I wasted a year of my life basically by not
nickel and diming.
By not investing in a mentor. And something for me is like, whenever I look for a mentor, I want to make sure that they're actually doing what they're preaching. Yeah. Because there are people that are, do it, have a bit of success, get out of the actual business and begin coaching, and they make all their money coaching. Yeah. And then there are the people that are actively doing the business day to day, and then they're telling you the ins and outs of the business. They're giving you the connections that you need, contractors, GCs, all that stuff. So I definitely invest in people that I trust, obviously, and people that are already doing what I'm doing. And tying that back, getting a mentor will change your life, whether it's, your audience working with you or your audience working with someone else. I personally believe that if I got a mentor a few months earlier, I would be in a different, financial and my life would be completely different. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, you still got a lot of time left.
That's what a lot of people say. Your runway. And I don't feel that. Well, that's what a lot of people say.
That's normal. I mean, when I launched the first business, I was 21, and I felt like I had to get shit done like yesterday. You know what I mean? Exactly. I still feel the same way in any of the businesses. So that never goes away. But there's time to breathe, right? Time to project. Time to work through that process.
I feel like since you're so driven, and I like to think of myself the same way, it's like we want to just put that to the side. Yeah. We want to put the people say we have time to the side. We just want to go 100 miles an hour. Yeah. We're just going to go straight for the target, just run, like you said at the beginning, is just cut through all the walls. Or
you know what works for me? I'm going to put this out there, right? It's probably something I would have told my 17-year-old self. But it's counterbalance. It's the awareness of counterbalance, because I do go heavy on a regular basis. I mean, if I'm putting together content, it's content, then boom, I go heavy on that, and then exactly. I go heavy on building the brokerage, building the wholesaling and fixing and flipping business, and then on my organizational psychology practice. I don't know how to throttle it back. You know what I mean? I mean, to me, it's pedal to the metal.
Exactly.
Now, understanding that about me is a huge thing, right? This is a me thing. Absolutely. So I'm sitting there, I got burned out when I was going through my 20s because I had another business, and again I was going I was going heavy 24/7, and I ended up burning out, and then just getting super tired and whatnot. I learned a harsh lesson, and it's really, so I started looking for balance, right? Okay, how can I balance?
Yep.
Find that zen and look, find balance. Well, I mean, that shit didn't work. Whenever I felt like I was in balance, I felt like I wasn't doing enough, and then I wasn't enjoying the balance part. So it's like, okay, that doesn't work. So, I mean, it really, to me, it came back to counterbalance. So it's now for me to, stay in a healthy space physically, where I'm not dead tired every single day. I'm not stressed, every single day. And it's a matter of counterbalance. So I understand that my nature is to go heavy, right? My nature is to be driven, is to achieve, the overachiever by definition, right? So I get that about me and I accept it. Now, what's the counterbalance? What's the thing that's going to pull me back and actually want to get me out of that space and create counterbalance? To me, it's trips. It's, taking, vacations with the family and actually going to places where, okay, cool. This is going to force me, because I enjoy it so much.
Oh, of course.
To not think about work for a day or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, but I have 2 guitars laying around my office.
I did.
I started playing guitar and I just, go on a mental trip. That's counterbalance, for me. But counterbalance turned out to be a beautiful thing, because it really, it resets. You know what I mean? That engine that we have that's always going.
Exactly. And it's that hustle culture that, some big people used to preach that was super toxic. And I was, I followed that. I would work 10 hours a day, no breaks. I would skip my meals for clients and everything.
Yeah.
And I also got very burnt out very, very quickly. I remember this one day, I got off a call with a client after building their website, just one session. It was like 4 or 5 hours, just straight deep work. And then I finished and I went in my room and I'm like, I just felt like passing out. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So that was when I reached out to some people that I knew that were pretty successful in this space. And they were like, dude, you need to take a break. And I'm like, a break?
What do you mean?
I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. And this is also an ego thing. I was like, dude, and this guy's doing $2 million. I'm doing like $300 a month. He knows something that I don't.
Maybe I should listen.
Yeah, maybe I should listen. But as my ego was in the way, I didn't listen. Yeah. So it happened the second time. And I reached out to him again. He said, dude, did you take a break? I was like, nope, I didn't. I was like, okay, great. So take a break. So I took a break. That weekend, I didn't do anything. I just binged eat and just relaxed. I came back Monday, worked harder than ever. I was like, okay, maybe I need to take more breaks.
Yeah, periods of refreshment, man. But yeah, finding a way to counterbalance that drive is important, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's just not sustainable. So with that, on that note, it's awesome, dude. I mean, crushing it, 17 years old. I mean, you have this big vision, right? You're thinking big, where you're at right now, and I'm excited to see what you craft in the future, man. I appreciate you flying in.
Absolutely.
And it's been a blast having you on the show, brother.
Absolutely, bro. I really appreciate it, man. It means the world having me.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Family, there you guys have it. CEO Pulse Podcast, where you get the real, the raw, and the mind of entrepreneurship. Let's go.